All right, all right, all right. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another art stream with your boy, Tartifia. And as I said last week, we are going to continue working on this illustration for the Be Right Back screen illustration for the stream. Oh, yeah, we got the wrong category here. All right, what's art? There you go. Okay, yeah. So, but yeah, because outside of the stream, I'm gonna be working on my webcomic as I have described last time, guys. That's gonna be planned for the rest of the year. We will see a lot of activity from me on October when we hit October. I'm gonna do what I did last year, just stream every day and just make artwork based on prompts. Because only so many of us can do it. And I have done it for like what, the past 3 years? I think. Or 2 years probably. Yeah, I think I've done 2 years of it. This will be year 3. Okay. Yeah, speaking of webcomic, the character on the screen is from my webcomic. It's Will's daughter from Reborn Daughter. You can read this for free on Webtoons, although you've got to be of age. It's only for ages 16 plus. So if you're too young, you're gonna have to wait. And hey, no problem, because I have a second webcomic that's for all ages. Now they're both under. This one's called Five Shooting Stars. It's also Webtoons. So again, all the stuff is for free. You just gotta make a Webtoons account, and you'll be able to read this stuff if you're interested. They're both romance stories, so that's the genre that we're looking at. If you want to support my works or even check it out, come check me out on Webtoons. And it's the same for all other platforms on social media. So, as usual, we're going to start off the stream by doing some warm-ups. Let's do scene, whatchamacallits, of some figure drawing. And then we'll move on to the actual illustration itself. Now, of course, this is the stream practice file, so we're not going to create the illustration here. I've already prepared the actual illustration. So we've done the sketching last week, so now it's just now I just copy and paste the sketch, and now we see that we have a lot more room to work with today, so we're gonna go ahead and work on that later today. But let's do some warm-ups. And of course I left some notes here from last week. I actually never got the chance to get to it, so I'm going to be adjusting that when we come back to the illustration on the right, which is on the other tab. So yeah, so that's gonna be the opener. Let's go ahead and start. This is from last week. Yeah, start doing some figure drawings. And just warm up, so that way my head is in that space where I'm like drawing 3D objects in a 2D plane, understanding the spatial, getting that awareness. All right, so first things first, make sure you go online and you find some references. Now I won't be able to put, as usual, I'm not going to put the references on the screen because I got in trouble for that before. I don't know how all these other artists do it and they get away with it. I'm not entirely too sure, but I have the ability to look at a reference on a different monitor. So I'm just going to do that. But for those of you at home, or if you're here to just hang out and draw along, make sure you have a reference to draw from. And when you do have that reference, make sure you're like observing it as you're drawing it and really understanding where these lines are supposed to go. Don't just copy what you're looking at. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the playlist too, so we got some music in the background. Okay, let's get to it. Oh, and I just realized I forgot to clean my screen. Oh well, I guess I'll have to deal with that today. Draw a chair. Box here. Oh, hey, Tally. Welcome in on the stream. How you doing today? It's raining again? Did it flood again? Is it raining as bad as last time? I had any more floods to deal with? It's gonna be like this all the way until Saturday? Yikes. Well, that sucks, but you know, I guess that's part of the Florida experience, from what I hear. You got something from your birthday wish list? What did you get? And it came so early. You guys are planning ahead. A cast iron Dutch oven and a crown. Oh, this is an interesting pose. You know, I doubt I will ever draw a character doing this, but the fact that this exists on the internet, I want to draw this actually. I'm gonna give this a try. Why did you want a cast iron Dutch oven? What you using that for? You want to make bread? You want to make money? Stop. See, Tally's like, I'm trying to start a business where I can sell bread. Trying to save money at the grocery store. How much is bread that you need to get oven and make your own bread to save money? I'm like, granted, you didn't have to pay for the oven, but I run through bread a lot at home. It's me and two kids. Milk, eggs, and bread don't last in my house. Yeah, but like, well, if it's cheaper to make bread, like, you know, from scratch, like homemade bread, then, you know, sure. Yeah, it's pretty cool though. Not a lot of kids can say, hey, my parent makes me homemade bread. Just make it from home. Alright, there you go. Complicated clothes done. Bread is like $3 to $4. Yeah, but how much is it to? How much does it cost to make bread? That's the question here. You know, I have to learn to season the cast iron and keep it that way. But breaded flour is like $2. Eggs and butter I have at home at all times. Oh, bread flour, okay. As well as oil, instant yeast. It's like $1, and I can have it around for a month or two without having to buy bread, since I'll make it at home. Okay, I gotta double check, because you know, you keep telling me you're bad with math, so it's like when you tell me it's cheaper, I'm just kind of like, well, I mean, are we doing the math right here? Is the math mathing? But looks like you're just adding, instead of, you're paying less, but you're putting more work. Which is, you know, which is the primary reason why people just buy bread, so they don't have to do all that work. Girl math? What does girl math mean? What does girl math mean? Why is there even a girl math? Why are we splitting math into genders? It's supposed to be a universal language. What's going on here, eh? What's going on? I don't go out much, and I don't have a dating life, so for me, it's fine. I mean, okay, but you know, there's upkeep, so we always gotta think about upkeep. You know, I talk to my best friend about that all this time because he's, you know, he's pretty greedy minded, and you know, he'll put all of these things in place to make things cheaper so he can make more money. But then, you know, he's not really thinking about that. He's trading off money for like labor. You know, and there's all this upkeep that has to be put in place if you want to, you know, continue to gain all these things. But, you know, as a reminder, that's why, you know, in businesses we hire people to do that, you know, to take care of that upkeep, to free us up to do other things. And you know, it'd be cool. You know, actually, it'd be fun having it there to make bread, but also teaching the kids how to make bread so they can make it themselves. Well, provided they're, you know, age appropriate, because, you know, that does kind of leave room for burning the house down if you really think about it. Definitely, because Ash needs to learn how to cook. I don't want him thinking that only women are supposed to cook. You know, I really don't believe that. And what I mean by that is like as a man growing up, it's not Okay, again, I'm not saying this is what you meant, but because of how you worded it, this is how it came out. But you know, men don't typically grow up thinking, they don't need to cook because that's what women are supposed to do. It's more like we understand that that's something they take care of, or like it's a responsibility they uptake, right? And then the logic that usually comes after that is, well, why should I learn this skill if that's not something I'm upkeeping? Or if it's not that important for me to be skilled at. And what I'm getting at is that it's not really that we think that it's what they're supposed to do. It's just more like it's they electively choose to do it. You know? Yeah, but even if the dad thinks it, it's like in my opinion, I feel like that logic kind of becomes something that you develop as an adult versus like as a child. Is what I'm trying to say, Like, but as a kid growing up, you understand that everybody cooks, and you see it when you walk into, and especially like if it's an urban type, area. Like, I guess if you're in the countryside or like in a small town or whatever, then you probably only see women making food, so you just assume that that's something women do. But like, typically in urban places, we see guys cook all the time. We see both genders cook. And so like this idea that it's just a woman thing doesn't really, latch on to us unless somebody tells us otherwise. So that being said, even if he learns how to cook for himself, like it's gonna be entirely up to him, right, to believe in this idea that, is that a responsibility he wants to handle? Or would he rather pass that off to his girlfriend or his partner? So that's going to be the key thing in terms of that discussion there. Who's responsible for it? And now for me, it just kind of depends on who's good at doing what. Like, I like making curry, so, if my partner can make curry better than me, then I'm not going to want to make curry anymore. because to me, logically, the one who does it better should make it, right? But if I make eggs better, then maybe I should be the one doing it, right? At least most of the time. But that being said, it's a partnership, right? So we kind of switch and trade responsibilities as we see fit, right? But generally, we want to to make things easier for everybody and we're not confused, we typically give somebody a specific role to take care of rather than just kind of play it by ear. Because if you play it by ear all the time, it gets pretty chaotic. He tells the kids that the women cook and the men don't. Yeah, but like as kids, when we hear that, we understand that that's a responsibility. Not that we can't do it, it's just a responsibility. But I want to at least learn, so if he lives on his own, he can. Yeah, but like that's what I'm trying to say. Like that's something, just it doesn't matter if you're a girl or a boy, but like when you are going into adulthood on your own, you come to understand that these are all things, these are the bare minimum that people need to understand to know how to do. right? Like the moment you start living by yourself or whatever, you start, you're like, oh, I have to learn how to clean my own clothes. I have to learn how to, get food. I got to make my own food. I got to learn how to get myself to places. So, they got to teach myself. I got to, at some point, learn how to drive a vehicle, or I'll be stuck taking public transportation or ordering taxis all the time. Right? I got to learn how to manage my finances, etc., etc. This is all the bare minimum. And then when you go into a partnership, that's kind of where this idea of that only women are supposed to cook kind of comes into play, because when you live together with somebody and you live in the same space, you come to understand that it's redundant to have two people do the same thing. So it's optimal to have one person take care of a specific thing, right? Typically in my partnerships, I'm always the one making breakfast, because at least for some reason, I don't know how, it's all by pure luck, because all these girls don't know each other. But somehow every time I date a girl, they don't know how to make breakfast for some reason. And they never eat breakfast. And I gotta lecture them and just be like, tell them how important breakfast is and why we have to eat it. And I'm usually the one who always makes breakfast. And it's not because they don't know how to cook, but it's just kind of like they just don't get up, right? And they don't prioritize making food as soon as they wake up. They rather just have brunch or something, which is a very popular thing in New York, by the way. I don't know why, but all the women love having brunch over here. And maybe that kind of added to this idea why every girl I dated don't ever make breakfast. But yeah, it's just kind of one of those things. But yeah, it shouldn't be learn how to cook because I don't want you, contributing to this idea that only women are supposed to cook and be responsible for cooking. Now, it should be, you should know how to cook because it's a basic human thing that we should all know as an adult. It's part of the bare minimum of like, being on your own. And ultimately, if you raise your kids good, what I have seen is that, when kids get older, they want to be helpful. They typically, like, if they love you, right? And I have to say that because unfortunately my sister is like one of those people that, are the complete opposite. So I can't use her. She's the opposite of the example that I'm bringing. But like, if you do love your family, and when you do get old enough, you kind of start to want to help and contribute to the family house, right? Because, this idea that they want to relieve you of some of your responsibilities starts to come up because they're old enough to do it. And this is just all accumulative appreciation from the parent taking care of their child. So I get that. Look at my kids know how to wash clothes and clean the room, like basic household thing. All right, good, good, good. Luna's allowed to do a few things in the kitchen, but she's 9, so I don't really let her use the stove or the oven. But she can use the fryer, I guess that's what you're trying to say here, and a toaster. Okay, yeah, air fryer. You know, I didn't even know what that was until I went to my friend's house and she wanted me to teach her how to cook. I think it was chicken cutlet. I'm not sure. It was something with chicken, but I remember she's like, "Oh, why don't we just put it in the air fryer?" And I was just like, "What? What is this contraption?" But like, yeah, apparently, you know, that's a thing now, and a lot of, I guess, especially younger people who aren't very versed in cooking, tend to use the air fryer because it's kind of like it's like a cheating tool, I guess, to some extent. At least that was my impression of it. But yeah, Ash is 15, so he does a little more. He can use the stove and make small things like pasta and grilled cheese. Okay, cool, simple. Yeah, simple stuff. You know, and this is like, and I think, you know, and I've already gone over this in my webcomic as well. We had an episode where I kind of talk about cooking and the responsibilities. And, you know, the takeaway that I wanted from that episode was that, you know, it's a basic necessity. You know, it's not, everybody should know how to do it, and you shouldn't shy away for silly reasons like, because I did it on both sides, because I did it on both sides of the spectrum. It was just kind of like, you know, for the guys, it's like you shouldn't not learn how to cook just because you expect to put all that responsibility on your partner. If they, you know, if they're going to be a female, you should still have that skill regardless, because it's a basic necessity. And then for the girls, you shouldn't refrain from teaching yourself how to cook because it's a basic necessity. And, you know, because that's something, you know, because I've done like a lot of like social research at my college, but that's something I tend to understand about, you know, younger girls, especially, well, you know, specifically in the New York area, because I can't use this data outside of it. But these are all people that I've met in New York. But like, yeah, a lot of them don't know how to cook, and they purposely did that because they don't want to be subjected to this idea that, you know, when they do get with a guy and the relationship gets super serious, that they're expected to cook. So it's like not having that skill allows them to burden their partner with that ability, who has that skill set, right, with that responsibility. And I just think that's absolutely ridiculous. You know, but the bottom line is, you know, especially if you, I mean, I don't want to put it in this context, but, you know, if you should learn how to take care of yourself, is the bottom line. Otherwise, you can't take care of other people. And while that's not entirely true, you know, that's the whole reason why we like to tell people that. It's just so people just have some sort of skill set, so they're able to contribute in some way, shape, or form. I prefer my partner to cook. There are things I don't feel like cooking and I'm super tired. If my partner's up to cooking that day, it takes a little of the stress of my day away. Well, you know, unfortunately, the bad news is that everybody feels that way. And to me, that's just the reality of it. So then it just comes down to who's willing to make the sacrifice. But ultimately, everybody feels that way. Nobody wants to. If you can get that responsibility relieved, you would. But you know, that argument or that, you know, negotiating that kind, you know, those responsibilities usually kind of just comes down to who has more time in the day, right? And who does more. That's what that usually comes down to. But you know, again, it's a lot of factors, you know. Like I had a friend who, you know, and this is a really weird thing to that. I've only had one friend tell me this. She's the only woman who's in this situation that I know of. But her boyfriend is, without revealing, no, I guess he does some, like his career is very physical based, right? And it requires him to have a specific diet. And before they met and they started dating, he learned how to take care of himself and provide himself this diet that he needs for his work. So he was already like cooking for himself, and he meals plan and he meal prep and all that stuff. So they got together and they started living together. And the thing is that because he's always making himself food and he has to eat the things that he makes, there's no room for like you know, substituting his meals, right? So he just eats the same things kind of, you know, most of the time. You know, every once in a while he'll eat something different, of course. But, you know, he prioritizes his diet to an extreme. And she had, you know, in the beginning it was like, oh, this is so nice. I'm with a guy that knows he cooks my meals all the time. I never have to cook for him. You know, and he never puts that responsibility on me. And that's so cool and it's so progressive, right? Blah blah blah. And then, you know, just one day, you know, she had me come over, and there was a recipe she wanted to try. So she invited me over, and she made me food to eat. And you know, it was great, and it was, you know, and she did a good job. It was awesome. And then she started crying, and I was like, you know, did I say something wrong? I said the food was good. And then she just started venting that, you know, she doesn't like that she can never cook for her man. And I wouldn't say never, but it's just kind of like, you know, his diet is so strict. She can, like, you know, she doesn't have room to make him food ever. Like he takes care of the food all the time, and there's like no room for negotiation. And after making me something and feeding me and getting that kind of like, you know, satisfaction of hearing that her food is good, you know, she just found herself wanting that from her boyfriend. And I didn't know what to tell her, because I'm just kind of like, you know, like, this guy has a very specific diet, and like, you know, and you know, you totally flipped everything that you had told me before, because in the beginning it was like, oh, Like, this is great. I never have to cook for him. And now it's like, this is terrible. I wish I can cook for him. You know, which I just totally didn't see coming. Poor girl. I can see that. Oh, you feel bad for her? But why? She got a man that can cook. She never has to cook. Ever. Ever. Stop. Yeah, it was a totally strange experience for me. It feels like she can't make him like breakfast bed for their anniversary. I mean, probably. I don't even think that's something she would want to do, but you know. You will let me cook for you, right? Because I'm a good wifey, and you would cook for me? Well, it depends. You know, because I'm very like, and again, this is how I was with my previous partners, but it's kind of like a make or break situation. Like, basically, if I can make it better than you, then I don't want you to make it. And that's just kind of like how I feel. And in terms of like how the responsibilities would come down, it would just depend. Like, I would rather make breakfast if you suck at making breakfast, but if I have somewhere to go in the morning and I don't have time to make breakfast, then but you have like all the time that morning, then sure, get up earlier, have breakfast ready, I'm gonna eat, and I'm gonna go do what I gotta do. You want my curry? I can't make curry, so you're safe. Well, I mean, like, it's not just that, but yeah. Well, that's an interesting pose. But I'm not gonna draw that. I want to draw somebody sitting down. Because that's what I'm working with right now. Something that involves somebody on the floor. Or like on some surface. Here's one. Okay, maybe I made it a little too big. There you go. Press that down. I can make you Cuban food. Okay, that's great. Yeah, because I don't know how to make Cuban food. And we can alternate breakfast because I love making breakfast. Well, I mean, it depends. How much do you love making breakfast? Because the way you're making it sound like you don't like making breakfast. You know, and then it just comes down to what does responsibility and roles mean to you, right? Because like I said, with my previous partner, it wasn't about, it had nothing to do with gender. I just think eating breakfast is important. That's my belief. That's one of my values. And I'll make it every time, with or without her. So then it just comes down to, you know, is that something she wants to relieve me of? Is she capable of doing it? Does she want to do it? And how does it affect our life? Maybe we could play by ear when it comes to breakfast. Whoever makes the most dishes, the most delicious breakfast wins breakfast. That doesn't make any sense. Because all that means is that the laziest person is going to make the breakfast the least if we play it by ear. And I can tell you right now, you're always gonna lose to me. Well, then you can have breakfast and I'll have lunch and we can cook dinner together. I mean, again, it all depends. It doesn't work like that. This is assuming we both have all the time in the world. Oops. Weekends? Weekdays we can't do nothing? Well, I mean, again, that depends. Because I work on the weekends. And I work during the weekday. Dang, that's a lot of work. Well, yeah, it is, but that's how I live. I like doing a lot of work. Yeah, well, it's more like I gotta do what I want to do. Because a lot of my work is elective. You know, that's a big difference. Because, you know, I understand there are some people out there that they don't want to work a lot, but they kind of have to. But I work a lot because I choose to. I can't quite figure out where this box is. I think it's tilted up. Let's tilt this up. When you do breakfast, and I'll do the rest of the cooking. Well, yeah, hard to say, but we'll see. A lot of these things are not set in stone for me because I don't like being disappointed. So. I'll make sure you have the best you've been cooking. And you won't be unsatisfied. Okay, we'll see, but I mean, like, I'm just very hard to deal with. Seems like the hip is just always tilted forward when we sit down. It's like never not. Well, I mean, certain positions it's tilted back, but. Is there anything you can eat, you can't eat, or you don't like? It's okay, so it's my son? I'm a little confused. My son is a picky and a weird eater. And then as for you, is there anything you can't eat or you don't like to eat? Well, I mean, like, it's not even about being weird or picky. It's just, it's more like performance. Okay, just try my cooking once, and if it's not to your standards, then that's fine. No, it's not even here. I'll put it like this, and this is relevant because you want to teach your son about being able to cook on his own, right, and not giving this responsibility to women, but just show this real quick. But it's just, yeah, but anyways, but yeah, it's just more like, I don't care to a certain extent. Like it's just way more complicated than what we're making it out to be here. But like the last girl I dated tried to impress me by telling me how well she can cook, and I didn't care because I can make my own food, and also I've already separated I have the ability to separate the enjoyment of food versus the benefits. So when I choose food for myself, I don't care how good it tastes. I just care about how good it is for my body. Right? So there's just a lot of layers to it. So cooking well, it's not even about impressing me. It's about convincing me if you're right for the responsibility. Because somebody has to do it. If I don't think you can do it, then I'll do it myself. And that's just the kind of power, I guess I can say power, but that's the kind of power that I get in terms of like negotiating with a partner, all because I have this skill set. So if we take it back to, if we take it back to my friend's experience, right, where it's like he entered a relationship with a guy who makes the food all the time. She not only derived, so now she lost the ability to like serve her man in that way, right, in terms of food. And and then the other layer on top of that is that she feels pretty useless in her relationship because she doesn't do anything for him. So then, when it comes to like men and women in the relationships and their skill sets, right? Ultimately, in a partnership, you guys want to be useful to each other to a certain extent. And then it all comes down to who's willing to uptake those responsibilities. So when you have a guy who can satisfy himself in terms of food and cooking and all that stuff, that's just one less option that the girl has to contribute to that partnership. So she has to find other ways to contribute. No, but by far not the best cook, and I would never say that I am. I also don't mind you cooking for you and me and the kids. That won't bother me at all. Yeah, see, but you're looking at it too much from a me perspective, and you're not looking at it from an us perspective, right? Because if I handle that and I'm handling a whole bunch of other things, then I think less of you. You know, and that's why I'm saying it's difficult, because you see, I already understand our relationship would fail because you because you just said that sentence there. You said, I don't mind you doing everything. So you basically gave up and said, you're gonna let me take care of it rather than challenge it. No, that's not what I said. I said I don't mind if you want to cook for yourself on days, and I'll cook for myself and the kids on some days. I'm sure our schedules be a bit complicated. I'm not saying I'm gonna leave it all to you. I don't know if I'm wording it right. Yeah, but it's like, man, I must not be articulating it right. Well, again, I don't know. It's hard to explain when we're talking hypothetically, but yeah. I'll leave this on. let's move on to the illustration. And yeah, let's get to work on this. I think I've warmed up enough. And now we have to fix the leg here. Fix that. Hmm? Do you celebrate Halloween? I don't celebrate anything anymore. I don't even celebrate my birthday. So yes, to answer your question and many more in the future, I don't celebrate anything. At least I'm not actively celebrating it. I'm gonna ask my opinion on something. I mean, you can still ask my opinion. I just don't celebrate it. You know, Halloween is not what it used to be. At least over here in New York. I would celebrate old Halloween, but Halloween today, as it is, nah, ma, that's not my holiday anymore. Birthday is gonna be a Halloween party. The theme is horror. Okay. If I dress as Morticia Adams, is that horror related? That's a good question. It just comes down to what your definition of horror would be, right? But I don't think Morticia Adams falls into the horror category. But yeah, because you know, horror should feel horrible, right? That's not the impression I think most people get from Morticia Adams. Your mom picked the theme and you don't like horror movies? So you don't know what to dress up like? Well, I don't like horror movies either, so I can't help you on that aspect. Yeah. But we've got, Dead by Daylight is a horror game. You can take inspiration from the characters there. I know, let's see, we've got IPs like Chucky, we got Stranger Things, you got Freddy. How about the Voodoo Man from Princess and the Frog? I don't know what that is, so. I got no input for that. About the witch Oracle from Pirates. That's another movie I haven't seen, so I don't know. Have you seen any Disney? Not a lot. Some, but not all of it. I have to figure out something then. I'm the birthday girl. Maybe if I wear what I want, no one would dare say anything. Well, I mean, technically, yeah. I mean, you got the power. It's all about you and your 18th birthday. It's all about you, Pearl. Stop. See. Luna wants to be Wednesday. She said she is scary. I mean, yeah, Wednesday's... I can say Wednesday's scary, but I don't think she fits horror. If that makes sense. So maybe I will go as Mordecai, or Voodoo Lady, or Dracula. You know, I think the whole family is spooky together. But some of the characters individually, I wouldn't say they are, but you know. Yeah, I guess it's just up to you. What's more important, the way your daughter feels, or the way all the other adults probably gonna feel? Right? But let me tell you, I've seen so many people dress up as Wednesday for Halloween ever since we got that Netflix dropping it. So there's always a Wednesday every Halloween. At least recently. It's my party. Okay, so it's your party. So what takes priority? Me, myself, and I, and of course my kids. Well, who's I? Stop. Who is that guy? Oh no, now this doesn't look right. You're silly? Yes, you are very silly. You know what's scary? What's scary? Taxes? Is that what you meant to say? Taxes? Is that what you want to say? Taxes? I'm gonna dress up as taxes. I don't know. I'll see what I come up with. I'm getting old. Why? Because you think taxes are scary? That's a silly thing to say. Or think. And something just feels so off about the placement. I just can't put my finger on it. What am I missing here? No, because you're gonna be 37. What's her placement? I mean, she's sitting on the chair, but... But she doesn't look like she's sitting on the chair. Maybe you sit here crisscross applesauce on the chair. I don't understand what that means. Hmm. The Grim Reaper? You can be the Grim Reaper? I mean, sure. So now it's more like, what kind of Grim Reaper? I don't know yet, but I'll need a scythe. Alright, but what kind of scythe? Then Grim Reaper has been, transformed over and over and over again. So I mean, the cool thing is that you can be creative about it. Maybe I should have made her arms last. I think that was the biggest mistake here. I made. I don't know. I have the outfit sort of at home, so that means I can get a nice scythe. Okay. Feel free to mix it up. You can be a specific kind of Grim Reaper. Which is pretty, that's pretty much open to whatever interpretation you want. Probably we are PG today. Yeah, I know. Like I said, you could be any kind of scythe. You can be an ice scythe. You can be a fire scythe, a fire Grim Reaper, an ice Grim Reaper, whatever kind of Grim Reaper you want to be. It's literally open for interpretation. You can even be the daughter Grim Reaper. Ooh, spooky. Now I have an idea and I need the shoes and the nails to match. Alright, there we go. Now we're talking. The light bulb has gone off. You're a great help. Got the brain going. You're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. Okay, now it feels like she's sitting on it. Well, that took me a whole hour to do. Okay. Wonderful. Alright, let me see, what else? Guess we can put a wall over here. Maybe add like a poster or two. Okay, this is assuming it's on the same level here, but it's not. No lower level, but it's a bit more rotated. Gotta put a block here. I'm just mathing right now. Okay, the light's gonna come from this direction. Actually, no, this direction. And just shade in. This will be dark. Also gonna get this ambience light from the PC down here. Which, to be honest, this should be skinnier. Let's make this skinnier. Okay. Yeah, that arc is not good. Alright. That's gotta be fatter on this side. Yeah. Hmm. Oh, hey, Angel. How you doing? You made it just in time for the end of the stream. Oh. All right. Okay. Do I like your new emote? What, you mean the panda? That's new? I feel like I've seen this before. But nonetheless, I do like it. It's cute. Basically doing what I just drew, except it's just a different angle. If you really think about it, actually. All right. I never had that. I wanted one for so long. Oh, okay. I just felt like I've seen it before. Or at least, maybe not from you, but maybe from somebody else. I don't know. But okay. See, now it feels like she's sitting on the actual chair. So, alright. That's gonna be it for today's stream. We're gonna continue drawing this next week, on next Wednesday. So the whole sketch part, most of the sketch is done for the most part. So we'll probably be moving forward with the lining, and then if we have time, we'll probably do some coloring next week. And if we don't, then, you know, it'll just be the week after that. Until October. Once we hit October, we're gonna stop working on this. So hopefully we can get this finished throughout September. Because October I'll be streaming and drawing every day for October. So I won't have time to work on this. But yeah, thanks for popping by in, for everyone who has popped by in, and we're gonna start moving to the stream end stream. Coming to the VC when I'm done. I'll see, cause I have to make some phone calls, and I gotta get food ready. So, yeah, I'm gonna be busy doing stuff. But you know, no promises here. Okay, so yeah, so that's pretty much gonna be the plan for next week. We're going to continue the drawing as always. We're gonna open up with warm-ups, and then we're going to work on the drawing. So don't forget, guys, especially the artists out there, you know, do your warm-ups before you actually go into your drawings. Kind of set your brain into this, you know, place where you're looking at 2D space, but you're creating you know, 3D objects, right? And you know, it really helps to set your mind up for that, and to really just kind of warm yourself up into it. You know, just kind of like how if you're playing sports and you have your warm-up stretches and stuff, you know, art is the same thing because it's a cognitive skill. So with that being said, keep practicing. Don't forget to practice. The same quote as always: your efforts will never betray you. Work hard for the things that you want, and you know, those things will not leave you. Right? You're always going to have these skills if you work hard for them. And as always, be kind to others. Thank you so much for watching. If you're on YouTube and you felt like this was helpful, hit that like button. Other than that, I'll see everybody next week. Have a wonderful weekend. Until next time. Good night.